Okay, now that we learned the rules for sig figs, we can apply those rules to actual problems. One of the concepts we're going to go over is called density, and there's a few different definitions for density. One is the degree of compactness of a substance, and there's also this one, the amount of stuff in a given space. And stuff would be mass, and space would be the volume. If you had one bottle filled with water and another bottle that was filled with mercury, both bottles are the same size, the bottle with mercury would be heavier than the one filled with water. They both have the same volume, but their masses are different along with their densities. The equation for density is density equals mass divided by volume. Mass could be in grams, and volume could be in milliliters. There's some other options for both of those, but for what we'll be dealing with most of the time, it will be grams and milliliters. Here's a fun fact. 1 milliliter equals 1 centimeter cubed, which equals 1 cc, which is a cubic centimeter. Doctors on TV shows usually yell about needing 5 cc's of something. It's just a quick way of saying cubic centimeters. You should know that these are all the same, that they all mean the same thing. All right, let's try some density problems. What is the density of an unknown substance if you used a balance and found the mass of the object to be 14.2 grams and the volume to be 90.1 milliliters? Show your work. Whenever a problem says show your work, you need to do the following. And before I show you the following, you always need to show your work in chemistry. Okay, so what do you need to do to show your work? You need to write the general equation, if there is one, then substitute the variables with numbers given in the problem, and then you solve to the correct number of sig figs. So each problem should have 3 steps. Okay, let's solve this problem. First up, the equation. D equals m divided by v. That's step 1. Step 2 is going to be substitute. Here we have 14.2 grams. That's going to be the mass. And the volume is 90.1. So mass goes on top, 14.20 grams. And then the volume goes on the bottom. Now we'll write down what we get from our calculator. The next thing we need to do is figure out the sig figs. Always go to what was given for your sig figs. This has 4 sig figs. This one has 3. So because we're dividing here, we're going to go with the least number of sig figs. Again, we're dividing. So we need to round this to 3 sig figs. 1, 2, 3. The next question is, all right, do we keep it as a 7 or do we round it up? Because that's a 5 or greater, it's a 6. We're going to round it up. So our answer will be 0.158 grams per milliliter. The units are important. You have to have the units. You have to have this rounded to the correct number of sig figs. All of this is important. Okay, give this problem a try.